Ah, shit, got it fucked up now. We got shirts. We got shirts
and
coming out. So that's you feeling good? How that feel? That shirt feel good on you?
it feels good. I think I look sexy in
Yeah.
black. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Totally agree. Welcome to the Zodiac Star Podcast. Thank you for joining us for today's episode. I go by
Yes.
Zodiac.
I go by Star.
Shoot, that's
Bam,
and
bam,
it,
bam.
oh, it is like bam. Right? So, what are we going to be speaking about today?
Goddamn emotions.
Emotions. Going to tap into the emotional aspect of it all. We I feel, we feel, I believe, Star feels well, that that is one of the course aspects of all of this, because the emotion is like intertwined with everything. It's going to be based off of your religion and how you feel, what you think about. It's always going to have some energy aspect, a part of whatever experience you're having. But keep in mind, like we've mentioned before, emotions are a part of the vessel, not you. You are the observer. Once again, just reiterating from before of the emotions. And sometimes when we gravitate towards emotions and bring that in, we make it as if it's who we are and we live out through that emotion, not understanding we have the power to transmute it. It's our responsibility to take care of it. So we're going to talk more about that today, kind of go deeper into that aspect of how to work on and live day to day with the emotions and our experience and what we think can be a key tool in processing through that to make your journey further or better. Feel free to ask questions, comments as we go forward. So, we have um, some points we want to bring out, but I'm gonna pass the mic to, and we gonna get started. Let's get into this.
All right. Emo. And now it's funny because not too long ago I did a vlog called Emo, which is short for emotions, thanks to the millennials or whoever that new group was. But anywho, I do first want to give credit to I'll say our extraterrestrial cousins, the Andromedans, Arcturians, uh, Pleiadians, all of the higher aspect of ourselves, because they have reminded us while we're here that emotions are very much an important part of this experience. A lot of our higher versions of ourselves don't utilize emotion in the way that we utilize it in such a dense capacity. Um, they work with vibration. That's all emotions are, energy in motion. It's a vibration. So I want to give credit to them because we've both been reading Ascension Earth. If you ain't ready to say what the fuck, don't read that. But if you are, read it, because it goes in depth about how this all works here in this plane, in this dimension, in this harmonic universe. It reminds us where we're coming from and where we're going to, and it gives a much broader, a much higher elevated perspective on the shit that we experience, those of us that are on the ground getting firsthand knowledge and experience, right? Now, for me, that's very helpful because I don't like emotions. I'm just gonna say it. Emotions, they fucking suck. They they fucking suck. I remember grieving my mother passing just a few years ago. And I remember telling my sister, I said, this grieving shit is for the birds, man. This is a heavy emotion to process through. I don't like crying. I've never liked crying, right? But crying is healthy because it helps you to release emotions. I shed tears when I'm angry. I shed tears when I'm extremely hurt. Yep, there's the confirmation, the thunder, right? I don't know if y'all can hear that, but it's raining out here. But anywho, emotions are very, very important, and the remembrance of why we experience emotions was very helpful. So I got some notes because you know we need to comprehend our vessels, the signals that we're receiving, and like Zoe was saying, we're supposed to be observant of these emotions, not being driven by them in such a capacity where we lose control. And a lot of times we do that because we're not taught and we don't remember the purpose of these faculties that we have to help us in our purpose here, right?
Right.
So,
And before you get started on that point, let me add one more thing to that, as an example of your emotions, right? To show you how you're an observer. So you ever, you may be going through, let's just say, let's say like a bad breakup, I don't know, right? Go through a bad breakup. And then you notice like, even though you're going through a bad breakup, there's two ways to go about it. You may, and this is where sound and music comes into play.
mm-hmm.
Where if you're going through a bad breakup and you're really hurt, you may play more like sad songs, right? But if you were disappointed in some way or maybe be cheated on, then you play these uplifting songs to the left, all of that stuff. And now you're seeing yourself through vibration, through music, through like all kinds of like can't believe that the vibration through music, through like how you feel when you're listening to that song. Sometimes you can, when you listen to certain songs when you're working out, and you can get a stronger, you have more effort to go much harder versus
Mm-hmm.
listening to nothing, right? You feel a certain thing or a certain emotion that comes over that gives you extra energy and adrenaline, to run that much harder, to lift that much more weight because
Mm-hmm.
of how you feel, which is based off of a song, which is based off of an experience that you're having with this song. So through the experience of everything, there's emotions tied to it. There could be a TV show. A certain TV show can remind you of a childhood. A certain movie can pinpoint. I remember when I was watching this movie, I was going through this, and you feel a particular way about it. You know what I mean? So these are just points to recognize of how energy and emotions, not just feelings, but it can be remembrance. Because remember, energy is information.
Yeah.
So energy in motion can be information in motion or certain pinpoints in times and timelines and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of giving you examples of how certain emotions, you have certain things and certain experience can tie to certain feelings and
Mm-hmm.
ways that can help you push further or dwell even more within that, which you don't want to do that at all. You want to figure
Yeah.
out, how to process through so you can move forward and realize like it's an experience. You're here to have a human experience. But the best way to do that is what Star is going to explain as we go deeper in. So I just want to give those examples of just kind of giving you or getting you into the mindset of where we're
Mm-hmm.
about to go and dig deeper into. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because that could be a rabbit hole by itself. So I did some basic research on the word emotion. Most of us in the spiritual community, we say emotion is just energy in motion. And by definition, it's the capacity to do work or to cause change. Etymologically, you see, I always butcher that goddamn word. Etymologically speaking, it originally meant the force of expression in the 1590s, and then it moved to a continuous variation of position or the process of moving, change of place. So, period, energy in motion. When you think about that, where are you directing this energy? You get what I'm saying? Because our bodies resonate different levels of energy, and we translate them into words to better describe what we're experiencing. And some can be more uncomfortable than others. But when you don't allow yourself to feel, or you've been taught to suppress those emotions, you lose a sense of direction. And because you lose a sense of direction, you don't know what to do when these emotions arise, so you just go off the rails and just explode. Like you fucking explode. And these emotions, we're meant to learn from them for guidance and direction, not to run from them. Like emotions, that energy is supposed to help us to determine, okay, where should we be setting our boundaries, or where should we be directing our energy towards. And that emotion help us also to determine what is an energy drain for us, meaning, what depletes us, or also what our passions are. And so if we're taught to ignore these emotions and not to process them, that also leads to other issues, which we'll talk about a little bit later. um but yeah, because energy is to be directed, we need to understand and understand that whatever it is that we're feeling, we're not supposed to run away from it. We're supposed to sit with it, to observe the why and the how and the interpretation of such. The challenging part is when we're going through or experiencing these emotions, to move ourselves from the experiencer into the observer. um I'm trying to remember the name of a gentleman who grew up in the Taoist traditions and the monk traditions. What he explained was that we, as Zoe mentioned, we are not our emotions. We are also not our mind. So in order to help you to better control yourself during your experiences of these different emotions, is to picture these emotions as a room. So for example, let's say you are experiencing that heartbrokenness, or you are experiencing that anger, or that despair, or that depression. Understand that you are not that you're experiencing, that it's a room that you're within, and you have the ability to say, hey, I'm experiencing this right now, but here's the door. I'm going to walk through this door because I no longer want to experience that. I acknowledge it. I accept that I'm experiencing that. I know why I'm experiencing this. Now I'm going to walk through this door, and I'm going to choose to go into a room where I experience joy, or where I experience content, or where I am experiencing joy. And that's how you can quickly change your state, because your body's going to follow where your thought process is going. And it's funny because a lot of us like to maintain that control of unforgiveness, of anger, of frustration, because we like it. Just is what it is. We like feeling fucking angry. We like the thought of revenge, right? We like the thought of saying, fuck the world. We like that feeling. But also, we're also scared of letting go. That's a dichotomy, because we don't know who we're going to be if we choose to let it go. Not only within ourselves, but then you got the outside influence saying, oh, you're just going to forgive that person that fast, or I ain't going to let them do this to me, or you ain't going to talk to me like this, or you ain't going to do blah 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 blah, because they're looking at it as it's a disrespect, or you're dishonoring my name, or blah blah blah. But forgiveness and letting go is not for the other person, as many people say. It's for you. Because when we harbor and don't process those emotions, they cause issues. They cause problems. They really do. They really do.
Yeah,
And a lot of
and to
people,
add
go
to
ahead.
that, oh, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, to add to that, to not lose track, because you're at a good point right now. Two things that's coming up for me is one, what I learned early on before going down my spiritual journey. I felt like, have you ever got mad at a door? You never
No,
even
you
think
must have been
about the door.
irritated.
Right.
You
No, no,
must
no,
have
no.
been
No.
irritated about something
The
else.
key no, no, no. The key point is this.
Uh-huh.
You don't even think about the door. The only time you think about the door,
Mhm.
right,
Mhm.
is when the door ain't doing what it's supposed to do. Right? You understand how that door works. You
Or it's
understand
supposed
it's
to
supposed to
work.
open or it's supposed to work for you. You're supposed to open
Uh-huh.
it, you're supposed to close it. But if you ever put your key in the door and it's not opening, it's not unlocking, it's not functioning the way you want it to function, it start bringing up frustration, right? Like what's going on this
Uh-huh.
door, right? That's where emotion kind of comes in when it's going opposite of what you're expecting or the expectations and all that stuff coming in, but you understand how the door works. So as long as your understanding meets expectation, everything is all good. But the key
Mhm.
point is life don't meet your expectation. You're here from an experience, right? And then
Mhm.
what is the number one thing you say when something frustrates you that's not going according to your expectation? I
Yeah, get
just
on my
don't
goddamn
understand.
nerves.
Or you get on my goddamn nerve. Or what the fuck? Or God damn it. All these above, it goes. But the number one
Uh-huh.
common thing is like, I just don't get it. I just
Yeah.
don't understand. But you're saying it subconsciously, but at the same
Mhm.
time, that's what you actually mean.
Yeah.
You don't get it,
Yeah.
and it's causing a frustration and an
Mhm.
anger, and now you got this turmoil and this
Mhm.
messing up your emotions and whatever because it's not going according to your expectation, your understanding. So one
Mhm.
way that I've learned early on is to get
Mhm.
rid of or
Expectations.
expectations or to get or process through certain frustrations, if it's anger or whatever, is to
Mhm.
understand the whole situation, which is getting into the observer mode and being able to like, oh, okay, I see that. I get that. I get that. All right. Well, and this can really help with relationships. Sometimes I
Yeah.
understand why she just got that, or what was she, or whatever the case may be. But if
Uh-huh.
you sit back in the observer expectation mode, or not expectation, but observer observation mode, right?
Mhm.
Then did you really understand who that person was in the first place? Did you
Probably
understand you're
not.
dealing with a toxic person? Do you understand you're dealing with somebody that has parenting issues or likes to function in dysfunction, right?
Mhm.
So if you like to function in dysfunction and that's what you're dealing with, so when dysfunction comes up, of course you're not going to understand why it's not functioning well because you didn't fully comprehend that this person liked dysfunction. So when dysfunction comes up, it creates, which is the second point that brought up, familiarity. If I'm even
Mhm.
saying that right, yeah, it creates a familiar environment, and this is also a reason why people like complaining. This is also another reason why people like to have dysfunction around them is because it's their comfort zone. It gives them that excuse
Mhm.
from moving forward. It gives them that excuse from the unknown of who they could be if they actually work on themselves. It gives them an excuse, we can get into food, I'm a
Mhm.
foodie myself if you haven't noticed. But you get into food, right? And enjoy the food, but a lot of the food eating can be emotional eating. Right?
Mhm.
For something that's
Comfort.
frustrating you,
Yeah.
right, in your life, and now all of a sudden you got a sweet tooth, and all of a sudden you want ice cream, and all of a sudden you want some cereal, and all of a sudden you want loaded fries, and all of a sudden you want to go out to eat, and all of a sudden you want just a quick snack, and all of a sudden it's always all of these suddens, not understanding that
Mhm.
emotions is driving
Mhm.
your reaction. So your emotions have control over you because you accepted it as you being that emotion versus you understanding that you're the observer over that emotion. So you attach to
Mhm.
it,
Yeah.
right? So when you attach to it, now you're doing all of this type of way. You create
Mhm.
arguments because you're used to
Mhm.
arguing.
Yeah.
Some people like to create an argument when nothing is wrong in a relationship just so they can have makeup sex. You know what I'm saying? Because that makeup set can have a certain emotion. It
they
has a
say
little bit of
yeah, it's
anger.
a
Like,
certain yeah, it has a certain anger and oomph to it.
you see what I'm saying? So emotions can go very deep, and when you realize it's a pin anchor of everything in life in general, because
Yeah.
something's going to make you feel something some way or another, right?
And see, here's the crazy thing too, because a lot of people are raised and forced to suppress their emotions. And so
Especially
it
men.
really, yeah, well, yeah, especially men. And it really
Mhm.
shows up when you're an adult or supposed to be a mature adult and you're still throwing fucking tantrum tantrums.
Uh-huh.
Or one experience I had, I went to go try out for an acting gig and they wanted me to express a certain emotion. I didn't know what that fucking emotion was, let alone how to express it or to act it out because I wasn't allowed to feel or to express certain emotions, let alone, or to add to that, the fact that I didn't like emotions. So it hinders you in your experience, it hinders you in your growth and your maturation. Emotions, understanding them, understanding the why, that is very, very, very important. Very important. And
And
it's funny because, oh, go ahead.
no, no, no. I was just saying, don't forget another aspect of what you just said. There is an opposite side of the spectrum. Like you said, you didn't like feeling emotions, but some people detach completely from emotions. You got people
Oh,
that,
yeah, I've
on
been
the
told that
opposite
too.
side of the spectrum. Yeah. Like,
Oh,
giving a
you're so
baby and they
cold or
don't,
you're distant or you're, because I'm not your typical woman, okay? I don't go around here crying and boohoo and doing that. Yeah. So if I cry, you know something's really wrong. But you can come off as cold. You can come off as, like you said, detached or literally be detached.
yeah. And that's why I was saying, like, a mother giving birth to a child, some aren't attached to the child right away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it happens. It's a part of the experience. So, just playing off of, what you said is some people can't feel emotions because they're detached. But once you understand
Or
that,
because
and
they're
then
aliens.
well, they're aliens too. They don't understand that too, which is also a part of the experience of why we come down here in a way,
Yeah.
because some people, the higher dimensions, don't understand the emotions that we're feeling. So that's one
Yeah.
aspect of look at. We come down to understand why all these emotions. This is what the fuck,
Yeah.
and
Well,
some
what the
people
hell is
still
this
don't
shit?
feel it. Like I still don't get it. So then, if you're dealing with somebody that's not attached or detached from emotions, then it's like, what do you care? Do you not understand I'm detached from the emotions? I don't give a fuck.
But my caring is in a different form. It's on the analytical side, and just I'm trying
Hmm.
to figure out how I can solve this problem so you can stop with the ugly crying face. You get it? Just
Yeah, or complaining, and they got
yeah,
now.
just stop that, please. You're disrupting the energy
Yeah,
balance here.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
but so along this journey, I've learned that feelings and emotions are actually different because a lot of people use them synergistically, but they do go hand in hand. Some say feelings come before emotions because feelings are like what do they say? A conscious emotion, or some believe that feelings are a tender or more sensitive side of one's nature. So it's kind of like your sixth sense. You feel something before it happens. Feelings don't necessarily include emotions, but again, they do work hand in hand. And then some people say that emotions come before feelings. I don't see how that kind of works, but hey, that's just what they say. Just, yeah. But anywho,
Mhm.
so learning from this Ascension Earth business, what they're saying and what they reiterated is that we need to pay attention to how we feel because the feelings, that sixth sense, that gut feeling, that intuition, it's our personal guidance for us, for our individual path and our journey. You might also get those same gut feelings about somebody else, and that's where your spiritual guides come in, because we're able to tap into another person's energy, their vibratory fields to find out what's for their best interest too. But most importantly, we're supposed to pay attention to how we feel, and we're also supposed to acknowledge that how we feel is our responsibility. It's our creation. And a lot of times we often hear somebody say, "Oh, you made me feel like this," or "You did this to me," or "You blah." When we do that, we're giving them control over us.
Power, all that
It's
authority,
your fault,
all that.
and you did this, and you did that. But it's not my fault that you interpreted my actions as such. I'm not responsible for how you think. I'm not responsible for your perspective. I'm not responsible for your damn reaction. That's your problem.
Yep.
It's your negative emotions as well as your positive emotions. They're yours to process and they're yours to let go of. And so when we talk about this topic of accountability, when you start really comprehending what that word means, it will help you to have much less arguments, much less misunderstandings. Because as Zoe mentioned, communication is very important, right?
Mhm.
And
Yep.
so let's say you're having a conversation with a significant other, somebody that you really care about. If you don't really give a fuck, you're not going to ask clarifying questions and you're not just going to assume their intention behind their words. You actually hold space, allow them to express whatever it is they're expressing, whether it be vehemently in anger and loud words or softly in quietness. You're going to sit there, hold space, and allow them to say what they need to say, feel what they need to feel. And if you take it personally, understand that that is your fault that you took it personally. Now, yes, there are people that purposely say certain things because their intent is to cause you emotional harm or physical harm, whatever the cause may be. Yes, that does exist. But if you stand in observer mode, allow them to express, and then ask clarifying questions, then there'll be a lot more peace, right? And a lot of times, because negative emotions are very heavy, they're more dense. It's harder to process them. A lot of times we try to escape them. Like Zoe said, we try to escape it by eating or snacking, emotional eating, or going to go have a drink, or smoking a blunt, or having sex. Whatever your escape is, it's you so that you don't have to process those emotions. But when we don't process them, it does not serve us well. We're reminded by our higher selves, it does not serve us well. We're actually supposed to dig in to ground and deal with those emotions. And a lot of the times we don't. We just keep pushing it off, pushing it off, pushing it off until it becomes a physical manifestation of dis-ease. And so you ask, well, how the fuck do we deal with this? So they reminded us to look at children. Children are present right here, right now. When they're frustrated, they'll yell, they'll scream, they'll stomp, they'll fall on the floor, they'll cry, blah, blah, blah. Ah! They'll get it out. And once it's out of their system, they back to their normal, happy, joyous self. And that's supposed to be our standard state. That normally is our standard state. It's just a state of presence and joy, right? But when we're not allowed to feel, we're not allowed to show our anger, we're not allowed to show our sadness, we're not allowed to show our despair, we're not allowed to show, and it's mostly the negative emotions that they say we're not allowed to express, right? That causes more harm than good. And so when we put ourselves in the mind of a child, because remember, most religions will teach you you have to have the mind of a child in order to obtain the kingdom of heaven. And it's not saying being immature, it's saying stay in the present, stay in the now. Allow yourself to process and feel what you're feeling right now. Once you release it, once you let it go, you can go back to that homeostasis. That's why they say don't go to bed angry.
Mhm.
What
Most
good is
will.
that doing for you? What doing is what is
Yeah, most will. Because I'm gonna add a little bit more in there to go further.
Mhm.
One thing that sticks out is like going back to the conversation and having that conversation. And most arguments are based off of two individuals not being heard, right?
Yeah.
So when one person feel that they're not being heard, then underneath that is also validation, right? That what you're
Yeah.
saying matters, right? And going back to all voices matter. And people,
Yeah.
when they want to be validated, when they want to be heard, when they want to be listened to, because it's them standing in there and want to be seen like, look, I'm a human being too. I have emotions, treat me with respect, all this stuff. But if you ignore yourself
You get that
and you
reflection.
don't deal, right? You don't deal with your own emotions and you have a habit of turning to these other external
Yeah.
comforts, right? Versus dealing with the emotion that is within you, then you get frustrated because you are expecting somebody else to deal with what you refuse to deal with.
Yeah.
And that's where the anger and the frustration and all that comes into play. But once you start learning how to be with yourself, like we've mentioned plenty of times, and sit with that emotion and understand it. Why am I feeling this way? Take accountability, which is almost like accountability and like forbidden is like the way it comes down to humanity. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
because being a childlike mind is being able to be present and be authentically who you are, express your emotions and your feelings and your thoughts and all the process of you,
Yeah.
regardless
Yeah.
who hears it or not. And that's the dysfunction because society makes it where all we want so much attention. You get these cell phones, and even if you're not doing anything, most likely you're gonna just because it's like somebody gotta look at me. Somebody talk to me. Somebody bother me, but I don't want to be bothered. But bother me. Send me a text, but I get to it when I want to. You know, it goes this back and forth bullshit
Yeah. It's a
because
both and, goddamn
it's
it.
about
Make
man
up
like
your
that. Like leave me
mind.
alone, but chase. You know, leave me alone, but talk. Leave me alone, but send me something. I gotta feel important because if
Yeah.
nobody's giving me attention and drive and sending me a video or whatever the case may be, or talking or calling me, I gotta feel. I need to be overstimulated. I need to feel that I matter, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're not willing to sit with you and deal with those emotions and take
Who
accountability,
else gonna
then
sit
you're
with you?
always going to gravitate towards what's externally out from whatever outside of you to deal with it. So you can't get mad if you're not being heard because you don't listen to your goddamn self.
Mm.
Once you listen to your goddamn self, then it doesn't matter who listened to you or not because you said
Yep.
what you had to fucking say and I'm gone because
Yeah.
I'm gone. You know, I don't give a fuck. I'm leaving. I don't need the
Yeah.
I don't care. I seen the video the other day where Dion Cole, the comedian, if you heard of Dion Cole, he
Yeah.
was saying,
Yeah.
I'm getting to the age where I'm ready to go as soon as soon as I arrive someplace. I said I would go in that. He said I'll go in that bitch and spin around. I'll take
Like
about
my
4 steps and
homegirl
be
that
like, "Howdy, then I'm going home." So when
I can't.
you operate like that, it doesn't matter externally. You are satisfied with what you said because you said your truth, your authenticity, and it's up to them because it's also their responsibility how they respond to you, their responsibility how they react. They ain't got shit to do with you. And if they ain't got shit to do with how you and you're regulating yourself, it's their responsibility to regulate their self, then guess what?
Yeah.
It don't fucking matter if I stay at this party or not. I am this bitch. You know what I'm saying?
But what's that actress name? And I'm sorry, I'm horrible with remembering names, but she had a post where she was singing with two other sisters. Ain't nobody got time for that shit.
Oh yeah. The mother of
I
what love
can't
got to
remember
do
her
with it?
name, but I
Yeah. I
love
can't.
her as an actress. But
Yeah. Anybody got time for that? You got 15 summers left. You think you go get one of my 15 goddamn summers? You know, like when you start
oh
looking at it
gosh,
like
yeah.
that and taking real responsibility of you, you have a different impact on the world, and you actually give influence to for others to do the same. You
Now
know.
here's the thing too, because so the higher versions of ourselves, they mention that we should take the approach of immediate action when it comes to moving through and processing our emotions, right? And there are some people that can do that right away. They want to talk about stuff right now. But at the same token, there are other people that need that time to process it, which is me. I need time to sit and think about it. So I don't want to talk about it. And then when I try to get forced to talk about it right now, I'm like, nope, I'm shutting down. I'll talk to you when I'm ready. And so respecting those boundaries, respecting those differences is very important. So the other suggestion is, if you cannot process and take immediate action with going through those emotions, then make sure that you set an appointed time, preferably sooner rather than later, to process those emotions, to deal with them, to have that conversation, to get it out of your system. Because if not, it's going to fester. And if you are a thinker, oh, you're going to think yourself into fucking oblivion about all types of scenarios when it didn't even need to go there.
Right? It
Didn't
shows
even
up in
need to
your
go
body and
there.
all that shit. Yeah.
Yes. Then it's gonna turn into actions that you respond to, or reactions that you act out in response to your own thoughts, and that's not what that individual meant, right? Or you're gonna get stuck emotions, or again, like we mentioned earlier, you're gonna end up with some diseases. And it's funny because you go into the medical industry and you got some ailment or some pain, and you go into the medical industry, oh, I can't find nothing wrong with you. We don't know what's wrong with you. That's because it's not physical in origin. It's mental or emotional. You cannot separate your spiritual body, your mental body, your emotional body from the physical body. They all work together. And so science is just now figuring that out. But like, God damn it, they all work together. You try to have a specialty in one area. Did you forget there's the rest of the area?
Right.
And see, back in the day, that's why I appreciated general medicine, because they had a general understanding of how everything worked together. Now, goddamn, you try to go get one thing, you got to go get a specialist referral. Let me specialize, and it could not, that could not be the origin of the problem. You need, wait, that's another rabbit hole. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, you're fine.
I'm not
Because
gonna
like
go down that
I
rabbit
was just,
hole.
well, I was going down further because we talk about like first two things. One, I do it the easiest thing. I know a lot of people have trouble understanding that your body doesn't stop at your body, right?
Ooh,
Your
no, it
body,
doesn't.
it doesn't stop here. You're not in a motherfucking vase waiting for somebody to come and rub on you and all of a sudden, no, it doesn't happen
Oh,
like
there it
that.
goes. Look,
It
that's
doesn't
why they want to
happen
stay
like that.
6 feet apart. They're telling you, your energy, your vessel, because we are energy vessels, extends 6 feet out from you. Some people's bigger than that because their
Mm-hmm.
aura is that powerful. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And
just
this is how you can tell that person ain't right. Something's going to be, I don't know. You can tell certain shit because your aura is overlapping with their aura, right?
mm-hmm.
And it sends out
Yep.
certain energy. And then your senses or sixth sense, you just get that innate feeling,
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, something is
I ain't gonna
off.
vibe well with this
They
person.
ain't gonna
This
vibe
something
well.
ain't
I'm gonna
right about
remove
you.
myself from this
Yeah.
environment because this whole room is fucked up. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
about to just go over here where it
Mm.
feels better. Because you'll think about it, I'm emotional, or I feel something, or I feel in love. Like feeling, you subconsciously know which one is which, like you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, even though you just have to pay attention to more of what you say, because a lot of times you will say what you actually mean, but you say it from a subconscious mindset that
Yeah.
you're not really thinking about it. When you say I don't understand, you don't. When I say I feel this, you do. When I was like I'm emotional, you are. That's what's happening. Listen to
Yes,
yourself.
and it's okay to be fucking emotional. So
It's
another
okay.
escapism, right? Another escapism is focusing on somebody else's problems or their emotions, right? Oh, we do that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't want to focus on mine, so let me go focus on somebody. And mind you, don't get me wrong, because service makes us feel really, really good when we're genuinely helping somebody. the motive behind helping, it could range from, selfish reasons to actually philanthropic reasons. But when we are helping other people, it genuinely feels good. When we're present and holding space for other people to process through their emotions, that really feels good. It incites us, it gives us, purpose. But a lot of times we can also use that for escapism, so we don't have to process our own. And we need to be mindful of that shit too.
Absolutely.
Very
I
mindful.
totally fucking agree. And, to even that can be that's tailored toward or self-sabotage, right? Of what
Mm-hmm.
where you like helping others, but when you get help, it's leave me the fuck alone. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? But I'm a victim. I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. I do that. I'm gonna just be
Yeah.
blunt. I do that a lot. I love helping people. When I can help, my whole heart just pours out. But
Yeah.
I had the toughest time dealing with me.
Receiving that.
You know what I'm saying? You see this shit. You know what I'm saying? You think, oh, he's having a bad day. I've been having a bad year. But at the same time, it's been a great year. I've learned so much. So
Uh-huh.
Star mentioned, I I lost my mom. My mother back in December 2024,
Mm,
a week or so before Christmas. I'm still processing that.
yeah.
You understand? I'm still
Yeah.
processing of how to go about, and that's a deeper rabbit hole. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I can go down dealing with those emotions of trying to figure out, frustration, why a relationship was the way it was, of mother and
Mm-hmm.
son, of course, but
Mm-hmm.
why this, why that? And it brings a lot of
Yeah.
anger, a lot of frustration, and I'm still processing because I didn't understand why things was happening. So paying attention to that, I had to understand for myself that regardless the way it happened, there were still lessons there for me to learn and me take accountability of it. That doesn't mean I wasn't heard, but it's my
Mm-hmm.
responsibility to deal with it. Regardless of
Yeah.
that, if she wanted to deal with it or not, I still have to deal with it. And I'm still
Mm-hmm.
processing and going through it. But another
Yeah.
thing too that you mentioned earlier, because we talk about it, I don't know if everybody that's listening understand what is, not to segue off of this, but to make sure we have this apart as well, higher self, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's really explain higher self as we deal with these emotions, which is basically yourself in a higher dimension. It
Mm-hmm.
is who you are, the inner voice. A lot of things spoke to me from my perspective. Let me guard that. From my perspective, is you. You are a spark, and this is why I say you are God. You are a fractal. So
Yeah.
that fractal is still operating. You have not left. If you or Christianity, you believe in heaven, you haven't left heaven. If you're, spirituality or Buddha or whatever religion you,
You're in a
you
higher
are,
dimension. Yeah.
in
You're
a
just
higher
not
dimension,
confined here,
it's not
blinded
confined
by
here.
the physical confinement of
Just
this
like the
dense
Avatar
reality.
movie.
Yeah.
Right. Just like the Avatar movie. This is an experience. This is the dream. This is the Matrix. So
Mm-hmm.
this is why when you look over in that casket, that look like who I remember because their consciousness has left and returned back
Yeah.
to implement the data and the lessons and all of that stuff of that
Yep.
timeline or wherever that vessel was back to source and like, oh, well,
Yep.
this is what I learned. This is what I've gathered. This is here. These are the
Mm-hmm.
emotions that I felt. This is the
Yep.
thoughts that I had. This is the experience that
Mm.
took place. You go all the way back up to the higher self to be like, okay, this is what it was. Right.
Yeah.
So you're not here even though you're here, but you're not here. And then if you want to go deeper, you're here, but you're really by yourself here. Everything
Yeah.
else is a simulation. If you really want to go there, which we explained before, but we keep saying, "Oh, we'll talk about it later." No, let's talk a little bit about it now. Goddamn it,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
here by your goddamn self.
This literally is your world. Like if you, what was
Your
that?
world.
What was that Spider-Man movie where the other dude kept trying to go through the different timelines and kept rewinding it and
Doctor
the same thing
Strange.
kept playing out? Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
Doctor
not
Strange.
Doctor Strange. What Doctor Strange was talking about the multiverse, like the
Yeah.
different the versions of yourselves that
Uh-huh.
spread out. And then of course also Deadpool and Wolverine talk about that, the multiverse.
Uh-huh.
But in the Spider-Man movie, they go to that point where they're standing in the center of their world, and the other version, the other guy kept going back and forth because he keeps trying to rewind it, but the same shit keeps happening because that's predestined. You can't change it no matter how many fucking times you go back in time. If the person's supposed to die, they're supposed to die. If this is supposed to happen, that's supposed to happen. It's going to happen regardless because that's what you agreed to. But in that show, they were showing him at the center, right? Because that was his world. But when they disrupted that, you saw all the other worlds collapsing too, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so, yes, we're here by ourselves, but we're also in agreement for our worlds to coexist amongst each other.
Mm-hmm.
But you're still here by your goddamn self while
Yeah,
they're still there by themselves. And your worlds just happen to collide for whatever purpose and reason that you guys agree for your lives to intertwine at that time. But yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, and this is what makes it a reflection of you because
Mhm.
you went. So when we talk about the higher self, before you got into this vessel, you had a contract. A lot of people say, "Why would I fucking have a contract to
Why would
experience all
I
this shit?"
agree to this
Because
bullshit?
yeah, how did I agree to this? You agreed to it because you wanted the experience. You didn't come down here to go down the yellow brick road. Goddamn, you wanted the experience. You wanted the learning. You want the emotions. You wanted to understand. You wanted all of this stuff that you could not do until you got in this body, this vessel to feel it. This is why your emotions is a part of the body and not who you are.
Mm,
You just wanted to
yes.
observe and understand more how that felt. So you had a contract of what you looked like, the family you was going to be into, and then when you know the
Mhm.
family, which is another etymology. If we go down there, we just say relatives because family actually
Yeah.
means servants of a household. So if you go further down that, you'll get the energy out of that. But
Yeah.
we think of relatives, even though, and let me rewind that back, even though that's the energy you get out of that, your intentions is what controls it all too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you intend for it to mean this, then it means that because that's what your intentions was. But you know that certain words, when you understand the origins of it, has a different meaning. If you look, and that's a whole nother
Mhm.
rabbit hole. But so I'll
We can
use
be on
that
that
for the
all
one.
day.
Hold on, I could be that would take the whole episode. But the family or relatives or siblings that you get into, if the more dysfunctional it's from, is because you felt you had a capacity to come in and transmute that shit. I can come in and fix it, right? So you want to learn
Mm,
how to experience it so you can probably break the generational curse because you're the
mhm.
chosen one. This is why you feel if you're the black sheep of the family, if you feel like
Yeah.
you just didn't fit in or you were the child
Mhm.
that nobody wanted to be because you was the one that you sent yourself here to fix the shit, to feel the
Yep.
shit, to correct the shit. This is
Mhm.
why that is there, and that's part of your contract. So you said, okay, when you get down here, guess what, you're going to have these people around you, you're going to experience all this. It's plenty of ice cream. Don't worry about that. Kool-Aid, whatever you want. There's chicken. You experience all that. It'd be delicious. Don't worry about it. I did it once or twice before. And you already know because you already been down here multiple times. Another rabbit hole. But you already been multiple times. This is what you come to do. This is what you come to experience. Here's your body. Is
Yeah.
there any changes you want to make? Any changes? Okay, lower the forehead. Okay, that's fine. We can do that and everything like that. Now we're gonna send you in that motherfucker, but we're gonna have to compress you because our spirit, our consciousness is bigger than our physical vessel. So we gotta
Yes.
compress that shit so we can fit you in, and here comes the portal. The
Yeah.
only portal to get here is through a woman, so that's a whole nother
Yeah.
rabbit hole if you want to talk about Adam and Eve, goddammit. But at the end of the day, I'm not here to stump on anybody or anything like that. I'm just
Mhm.
saying at the end of the day, it was a process for you to get here because you wanted to experience the human experience. You wanted to understand these emotions and all that
Mhm.
because as you go up to a higher dimension, the higher dimension that you go up, the more unified it is. So at the end of the day, when
Yes.
it looks
Oh.
down and see all of this dysfunction, we don't fucking understand it because we kumbaya up in this motherfucker. But at the same time down there, y'all going through hell, choking people, biting ears. No disrespect, my case. But at the end,
And listen, right? So that's important that you said unify because the whole ultimate goal here on earth is unity and oneness.
yes.
And we keep forgetting that. We feel,
Yes.
and like you said, when we choose this dichotomy, when we come down here, we forget.
Mhm. We forget
Most
all this shit.
forget. Some don't, and lucky them. So we forget, and we have to be reminded the reason why we came here. But Unity and oneness is what they said the ultimate goal of this earth experience, this matrix is for. And so that's important for us to remember when we get so fucking frustrated with humanity as a whole, with all the shenanigans that are going on, is the unity consciousness. And so once a certain percentage of us get to that unity consciousness, that is actually what's going to raise the vibration and assist Earth with getting to the next harmonic universe, right? That's when we get to access your spiritual gifts and your abilities, because you have a one, or the consciousness of the all. Knowing that just as much as Zoe or anybody else that are on these platforms are just living their lives are just as divine as the next person, right? We gotta let everybody be where they are. We have to let people be where they are. And it's funny that we constantly have to be reminded of that, because those of us that are light workers, if you guys have ever heard of Jeffrey Wilson, he does energetic healing, dealing with the cords and direct connection to source. So if you haven't had your energetic healing, I suggest go to him. And there's a lot of other people out here that are helping you remember your direct connection to source. But he mentions it's called a savior syndrome, where we try to feel like we have to be a martyr to help other people to raise up the consciousness or to ascend, or we have to sacrifice ourselves to uplift other people. No, we ain't gotta do that shit. Nope.
Nope.
That's actually a fucking plague. To feel like you gotta sacrifice yourself to help somebody else. No, you actually being your authentic self, taking care of yourself first, allows you the liberty and freedom to encourage, one, somebody else to do the same, but two, to have the resources, the energy, the capacity, mentally, emotional, physically, psychologically, to assist somebody else. And not from the perspective that you think that you are better than them because you can help them, and not so much that you feel sorry for them too, because that's also a way that you can hinder somebody's growth. And that's something that I had to learn, because I don't like seeing people suffering.
Same. Yeah.
I hate seeing people suffer, because I come from a place where it's not fucking necessary. Here on this world, yeah, it's necessary. But no, I come from a place where it's not necessary for you to learn whatever lessons it is that you need to learn. So I just really heavily dislike seeing people suffer. And I'm like, it's so much easier. You ain't got to suffer. You ain't really got to go through all that. But at the same token, again, like Zoe mentioned, people come here specifically to experience certain things. They come here to suffer so that they can grow and expand their conscious knowledge. They come here to experience hurt and pain so that they can expand their vibratory essence. They come here to go through whatever it is they came here to go through, so that they can grow, so that they can evolve, so that they can comprehend what it is to truly have compassion, what it is to truly have empathy, right? And
Right.
so a lot of the times when you want to really help somebody, it's very important to ask not only your higher self, but their higher selves, is this really going to help them? Is it in our contractual agreement and connection for me to help them in such and such manner? Or is this going to hinder their growth and just enable them to stay where they are?
Think about it like a newborn child learning to walk, right? So every
Mm-hmm.
time, you see the child or the baby pulling themselves up, right? These are learning lessons to say, okay, there's some sturdy objects around me that if I just get strong enough or build certain like weight or whatever the case may be, I
Mm-hmm.
can like sit here and like just pull me up like this, right? And get stronger. Like, okay, now my body needs to get stronger. So, think about the baby doing ultimate pull-ups or something like that, and maybe that's where the pull-up diaper came from, but that's another story. I don't know. But
Yeah.
they get on their leg, right? So they pull themselves all the way up. And when they pull themselves all the way up, they fall. right? And
Mhm.
when they fall, that's like you saying, "Oh, that baby trying to walk. Let me hold you while you're walking," but you're hindering them from building the muscles that they need because they're working out, technically, strengthening
Yeah.
those legs muscles, strengthening the
Yeah.
stability of their back,
Mhm.
strengthening those arms, strengthening. That's why they can crawl super fast, where you'll see 15 miles an hour babies crawling around corners, like, you know what I'm saying? Because they done built all this strength up, right, to
Mhm.
learn
Yeah.
how to walk up straight. But
Yeah.
then if you hinder them, there's another side to this. Because
Oh, they
even if
always want you to carry them every
they
goddamn where.
carry everywhere, because now you train their mind to depend on you versus depending on their own two legs to walk. Like the
Mhm.
time we really want the baby to, say bye bye, dad. Then when they say that, now they talking like crazy. And now your whole mindset is, oh my gosh, oh, they're speaking so much. Or they crawl, they know how to walk, but they'll rather crawl because that's their
Mhm.
comfort zone. They don't want to evolve up to this. You know what I mean? So there's
Yeah.
so many different scenarios that comes by. But when you do that, you got to
Mhm.
understand, is it going to be for their better good? Because it is
Yeah.
easy to latch on and attach to something that makes that person more comfortable. And that can
Mhm.
be if it's arguments, that can be carrying a baby everywhere. I'd rather
Yeah.
use your legs to move me than my legs to move me.
Yeah.
I'd rather crawl and use palm because I'm more comfortable here than standing straight up because I don't feel authentically enough to stand straight up, even as an infant. Right? So I'ma just come down here and crawl because that's what I see the dog doing. And that's what I see the cat
Now,
doing. And I'm
now,
playing
mind
with
you,
them
right?
because they're much more nice to me, goddammit.
Now, mind you, there is some balance in that because, like, let's look at it from a business perspective, or when you're trying to build a team, right? There are some people that are stronger in some areas than in others. And so it'll be the best usage of your time and your energy if you say, hey, I'm going to build a team. I'm going to allow you to do such and such. I'm going to pay you for such and such because I value your gifts. I value your time. I value your energy, but you're way better in this area than I am. So let's work together. Let's commune. But it's not a codependency, right? It's not, well, oh, I can't do anything without you. No, I get it. I get how it's working. It's just going to take me much fucking longer than if I just allow you and release that semblance of control and let you do what you're naturally gifted in doing. And I'm going to honor you. I'm going to respect you. I'm going to thank you and acknowledge you for that because people don't, even though it may be their gifts and they may have joy doing it, they still like to be appreciated too. They don't like feeling being used. And so that's where, in that same example, that's where parents start getting frustrated. God damn it, I don't feel like carrying you walk, god damn it. Now
Mm-hmm.
you mad because you didn't enable their codependency on you, but now you want them to be dependent on themselves and walk. And they're just like, oh no, you didn't already built this train of thinking. You didn't already built this subconscious programming that I have to depend on you. So I want you to carry me every goddamn where. And the parents like,
Absolutely.
nah, I'm tired now. It's
I'm
high time
tired.
for you to grow the fuck up and do it yourself. And they're just
Yeah.
like, nah, I think I'm gonna stay right where I'm at because I'm comfortable.
Right. It's all about balance. It's perfectly saying. It's not saying you can't give them a hand at all, but at the same time,
Yeah,
allow them to get the lesson. Allow
yeah,
them, because at the end of the day, like we just said, we lost our moms. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like,
yeah.
we still have to stand strong. We still have to go and deliver, conversations like this and be
Mm-hmm.
that example. So it's not good to codepend, but it's good to collab or
Yeah.
co-create. So
Corroborate.
cooperate, right? And you do
Yeah.
that by authentically being your whole self and bringing your strength and who you are, not in no competition. You just know what you're best at to show up
Yeah.
as and resonate as, and allow them to do that. And that way y'all can create something that y'all couldn't do by yourself, or it would have took longer to do by yourself.
By
So
yourself.
that
Yeah.
is the beauty of
Mm.
unifying one another and coming together as UNITY. That's for unity, right?
You do it. Go ahead, quit Latifah.
That's how you come together that way, because the whole idea is for us all to raise this vibration, have this human experience, learn the lessons you
Yeah.
want to learn, but
Yeah.
unify as one, as a human race, so we can take this shit to the next level. on all dimensions, on all levels, on spiritually, energetically, and emotionally, all of that shit. We need to be able to take accountability of ourselves, show up as ourselves, so everybody else can show up as ourselves, and then we can push the guard. Because if think about it, if you lift the couch, it's hard to lift the couch by yourself. You know what I'm saying? But if you got somebody that's
That's the
just as strong as
Hercules,
you,
Hercules.
right? Okay, right? Just as strong, we can lift this shit together and move things a lot easier together. And this is the problem.
Yeah,
We always looking outside of ourselves for somebody to help us with this or give us that. They treating us this. We always used to point the damn finger, but what they say, three's pointing right back at your ass.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yep,
saying?
yep.
So emotions is one of the things to start from, which is one of the most powerful things, because once you can get control of your emotions, that'll help you
Mm,
amongst other things to get control of or to learn
mm,
how to process through. It's a building block, and one of the
yeah.
foundation and very core structures is emotions. And if you really look at it, emotions damn near run every fucking thing. How you talk, how you think, how
So
you feel, how you act.
about those emotions, right? Your beliefs about them can change. So
Yeah,
one of the things that they mention is that our beliefs do not make us worthy or not worthy of ascension. It's compassion, forgiveness, and unconditional love from my notes, right? They say we are to feel compassion, offer forgiveness, and be unconditional love. And once we're able to love each other despite the differences, that's where true growth and evolution comes into play. So a lot of people, they are ashamed of whatever emotions that they are feeling, and because they are ashamed of those emotions, they don't allow themselves to feel, or because they don't feel worthy of certain emotions, they don't allow themselves to process it. And shame, fear, which is of course the root of all divisiveness, but that shame of specific emotions, that hinders our growth. I mean, it could be something as simple as you're lusting after another, but because everybody's like, oh, lust is so bad, don't lust. Yeah, if you're imbalanced in that lust can be leading you to determine what it is that you are naturally drawn to. Is that a bad thing? No, because you're learning yourself. But when it's imbalanced to where you disrespect somebody else's sacred space, that's when it becomes a problem, right?
right.
When you're doing it in excess of balance, that's when it becomes a problem. So discernment is key when it comes to that. But understanding how you interpret what your beliefs are about emotions is very important too. That's where that understanding comes in. Because I know certain societies, certain races, certain class of individuals are taught certain things and belief sets about emotions. And because of that, it hinders your growth. It hinders how you process. It hinders how you interact when it comes to allowing yourself to express those emotions with other races, with other family members, within a business setting or within a collaborative setting. You don't allow yourself to express and to feel, so you hinder what could possibly be, because you lack discernment, you lack self-acceptance when it comes to your belief systems about emotions. And so, in order to hone in on what your discernment is, the suggestion is to not only allow yourself to feel what you feel about whatever information or situation is being presented, but also the presenter, whoever's giving the information. And that's what that's what he was mentioning about those vibes. If you get a nasty vibe from somebody, you may not want to rock with them. It does not discount that the information or knowledge that they're sharing cannot be used. You know how to say don't throw out the baby with the bathwater? Hey, they may be telling some good stuff, but there may be some bullshit in there too. You just have to hone in on your discernment. Your higher self, your intuition will tell you, okay, this part applies to you and it's helpful for you, can help you to grow, can help you ascend, can help you mature. That part's bullshit. You can ignore that part. When you hone in on your discernment, on your inner voice, you can decipher and filter the information that comes into you through a person, through a being, through a channel, whatever it is or wherever it comes from, so that you're not so easily led astray. so that you're not so easily deceived, if that's a nice word we can use.
Also, to add to that, just real quick, don't be
Judgmental.
prejudgmental on where you learn the lesson from. Meaning,
Mm,
some people hide behind age brackets, whether they're going to listen to somebody or not. You can be 35 and learn from somebody that's 25. You can be,
yeah.
some people have problems if a manager is younger than them. How you manager? You ain't got to tell me what to do. You know what I'm saying? And those are other emotions that you
Mm,
haven't processed through that can be triggering back to maybe something in childhood of
mm-hmm.
somebody always telling you something to do and you wasn't heard. Now it's showing up at your job because here
Mm-hmm.
you are 40 years old, 50 years old, whatever the case may be, and have somebody
Yeah.
20 years younger than you that you don't
Mm-hmm.
want to hear or listen to because you think you have more knowledge than them. You
Mm-hmm.
never know. Everybody's knowledge and voice matters. Everybody's on an equal playing field because at the same
Everybody
time,
teaches you too.
everybody teaches you. You can learn from it. That's why I learned like as a child. Like this is where all that comes through. Because now you deprive or not depriving, you're discrediting lessons that you contracted for it to come through this way to say, nope, I'm not gonna hear you because I don't think you know more than I do. And that can be,
Oh,
you can be that's like self-worth. Here comes self-sabotage. Here comes all this other stuff. Now you got to learn this way. Remember, if you've seen the
mm-hmm.
last episode where I said, listen to your higher self and you can get the knowledge, and that can be coming through because we're all reflections of one another once again. But that can be coming through here. You can listen to it, or you can learn a lesson when you don't listen to it. Regardless, you're gonna learn a lesson. It's win-win
Yeah.
situation because that's what you fucking came here to do in the first place. So be open. Nobody, even if it's a little bit, that little bit is
Yes.
still helpful on your process or your progress in your journey, regardless of where it comes from. Be open to learn, regardless who tells you, regardless of what it is. Be
Mm-hmm.
discernment, yes, but also be open to try to figure out what they're trying to say and does that apply to me does
Yeah.
that resonate with me on my journey, regardless of age or who or whatever the case may be. So I just wanted to add that to that as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna share a small story about one of my daughters, Adi. So remember, I said I don't like feeling emotions, right? I realized this was an issue when I had her. Her love language is physical touch. She likes being close. Mind you, I just had this beautiful little girl, just had her, but she used to sit right up under me. And my mind, I wouldn't say this out loud, but it doesn't matter when it comes to children because they're still in their high vibratory capacity. So they can feel that, they can sense that. But in my thought processing, I was like, you in my space, child. Like, you got to slide over. Like, really? Do you really have to be? I know I'm your mama, but you a little bit too close to me. And I would say that oftentimes. And so now I tell people that she was the one that taught me that love language, physical touch, because that's her love language. So giving her, because I didn't, my mom, her love language was acts of service, and I picked that up. Did not know that physical touch was another love language that I could have adopted and grown to appreciate, right? And if it wasn't for my daughter being the way that she is and me accepting her as such and allowing myself to experience that, I would not have grown in that area. And don't get me wrong, sometimes I'm still like that. I'm like, don't look at me, don't hug me, don't touch me. You in my bubble right now. And my son will purposely come and put his face right here. And I'm like, son, really? He's like, yes, mom, you're going to shut up and you're going to like it. and, I, and I'm just like, it makes me smile and I appreciate it. You get what I'm saying? Because it helps you to open up, it helps you to learn, it helps you to understand and to accept another as they are. And so again, when we talk about, the multiple perspectives, right? Because they said there's always going to be multiple perspectives in every single issue, on every single issue. And what they mentioned to us was that some people can be very persuasive with their rhetoric by being more confident in their perspective. And there are also those people who are telling you the truth, or they think they're telling you the truth. Let me correct it. They think they're telling you the truth, but they're not. And then there are those who know that they are not telling you the truth, but they're very good at convincing you that it is the truth. And so if you don't have this discernment to be able to filter through those energies, those vibratory emotions that you pick up that emanate, despite how convincing or double tongue or silver tongue their words are, then yeah, you're going to be taken for a wild ride that you didn't necessarily agree to be taken on. And mind you, the truth is that all truths are true from a certain perspective. All realities are real. That's
Say
the
it again.
only truth.
Say it again.
All truths are true from a certain perspective.
Mm,
This is something I learned in art school, right?
mm,
What they had us do, they had whatever the stationery was in the center, and they had all of the artists sit around it, right?
mm,
So your perspective, you're drawing this perspective of what you're seeing. Somebody else that is maybe 90 degrees away is drawing a different perspective. Both of those perspectives are true. It's just a different perspective. Ain't no point in arguing about it. No point in, what the fuck are you arguing about? Your truth is not true.
It's not
Their
the only
truth is
truth.
not true. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? And so
Yeah.
all perspectives from every individual is their truth. And the saying comes to mind, there's always more than one side to a story, and then there's the truth. The
Mm-hmm.
truth is that all sides of those stories are true. That's the truth. Every perspective is true. And I'm
Right.
pretty sure there's somebody that's out there that's gonna say, no, oh, that's not, because science says this, or this says that, or that says that. Okay.
That's your
If you want
belief,
to argue, that's your belief.
and
I'm
you
going to
have the
let you
right for
stay
that.
right where you are,
Right where you are, because that means you're
because
not
that's what
open,
you want to create. Well, not
and that's what
not
you want to
just that you're
create.
not open, but that's the reality. That's the timeline that you want to live in. And they said that's another important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Using that discernment, but also choosing the reality that you want to make real and make true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when
Yeah.
we're out here, we're getting these glimpses of all this news and this suspected destruction. And you get in the spiritual community, they're talking about the timeline shifting, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
splitting. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a higher and a lower and blah, blah, blah. We get that. But you also have the right to choose which reality you want to be yours. Yet that's not being delusional. That's co-creating your reality. And sometimes when you want to get where you want to get to, sometimes you do have to trick your body to the illusion, to the imagination, to the creation that you want to visualize or manifest. It's a both and,
That
right?
already exists because it's a part of one of the timelines that already exists. So it's already fucking
Exactly.
here. You just got to tune into the energy of it's here. You want $1 million? You already got $1 million.
Yep. You just got to
You know?
vibrate and live and be as you want to. And I didn't understand that. I used to get frustrated because I can be so black and white sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I used to get mad when I used to do what's called property preservation. I had a business that helped to maintain the bank-owned homes. And other contractors that you work with, they would always make the comment, fake it till you make it. I'm like, why the fuck you out here pretending and faking it till you make? What if you get in trouble or you fuck somebody up? Well, that's what liability insurance is for. But you mess somebody up because you faking it until you make it, but not realizing that that's actually a spiritual concept. It's a spiritual concept. In order for you to manifest what it is that you want to see, because what you're seeing is past tense, you have to be in make believe, or what we used to do as children, you have to pretend. Right now, you have to act like you have it right now, and then it'll show up. Because again, what we're seeing is past tense, right? So what we're experiencing right now, we already created in the past. So in order for us to manifest that $1 million, if we're living like we have $1 million, then we have to act like we do. We have to wise up, get the training, get the instruction, get investment knowledge, get, how to properly save, how to make your money make money for you. Learn that. Rub shoulders with those who are living as such. I laugh. I think it was Cat Williams who mentioned, he made a joke talking about how you're gonna learn something from somebody that's in the same situation that you're in.
Yeah. Yeah.
That make sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How are you gonna elevate and ascend and assist with manifesting your reality, and you still rubbing shoulders with the same people that don't have any ambition to change, to grow, to mature, etc., etc.? You gotta find those people that are in that circle. Now, mind you, some people, let's use wealth, because that's a big topic. You know, a lot of people want wealth so that they can have the liberty and freedom to do whatever the fuck it is they want to do. But let's say wealthy. Now, a lot of wealthy don't rub shoulders with the poor because they know better. They don't want that negative energy. They don't want that negative mindset. And you're not talking about things that they are interested in. So they're not going to rub shoulders with you. Family, friends, acquaintances, no. You don't have anything that can contribute to my state of being, to the world that I want to create. So why am I going to rub shoulders with you? No, not really. Or I'm going to limit my time. Are you going to pay me for me to share my knowledge and wisdom with you? Okay, that's respectable. And you do have people that are willing to share how they got to where they're getting. But then you got these people that feel like they're entitled. You should be giving that information out for free. Not, I didn't get it for free. I spent my time studying.
Oh.
I spent my time learning. I spent my time finding a mentor that wouldn't mind sharing with me their knowledge. So yeah, I want to get compensated too, because my time is just as precious as yours. And you want me to give this to you for free, and you're not willing to put forth the energy to do so yourself? Nah, fam. That's not how this works.
I remember wanting the baby, the baby wanting the parent to carry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and putting their responsibility on learning how to walk themselves on them. I'd rather do this. That kind of
Mm-hmm.
that can go back to, not saying that's the cause, but that's just an
Mm-hmm.
example of that. So like, you, first of all, to understand, let's go deeper. To
Mm-hmm.
understand, since we're talking about wealth, two things. One, to understand how to be wealthy, you have to be valued as wealthy, meaning
Or see your value.
see your value. There we go. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
see your value as wealth. You have to become valuable enough of wealth. What knowledge do you have? What skills have you learned? What 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 are you going to
How are
talk
you
about to help
serving
me?
others?
How are you
Yeah.
serving others? And did that work for you? Because you have
Yeah.
to be the example of
Mm-hmm.
what you're trying to portray and what you're putting out. And
Yeah.
so if this,
Yeah.
because that's the way others are going to perceive it, is if you're not
Mm-hmm.
doing it, now why the hell am I listening to you and you're not doing it? You know what I mean? Where's your proof? I
Yeah.
want to see that that is a proof of concept that actually works. Like for a
Mm-hmm.
franchise, if you want to start a franchise, you want to start a business, right? You start a business, but you wanted to become a franchise. Well, you got to make sure that business is valuable and marketable and profitable enough to
And
bring others
expandable.
in.
Yeah.
Expandable to expand. If you just have a business and just doing hair, it doesn't work that way. You have
Mm-hmm.
to also learn how to build it and get to a point where you have enough profit and to bring multiple locations. You might have to open up 3-4 locations by yourself with the
Mm-hmm.
funding. And this is where you can get into accounting, and you got to pay for that. This is where you can get into, marketing and all of this stuff to bring
Mm-hmm.
more people in. You have to do the groundwork. And then there's companies out there that can help you become a franchise once they see a proof of concept of 4-5
Mm-hmm.
operating sites. Okay, this person is here, and Indiana,
Yeah.
there's one in Atlanta, and there's one in California. Okay,
Yeah.
well, and both of them profitable, numbers right.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get
Mm-hmm.
more people involved to expand it even more, which is
Yeah.
going back to unifying, coming
Mm-hmm.
together. Now there's helping
Working
out how many
together.
more jobs, working together for a purpose or vision that can help others, right? And
And it's funny because a lot of people don't really understand, or I'll say appreciate, those specific industries like marketing, right? Until they
Uh-huh.
have to do it themselves. And then they're like, oh, this shit is hard. It's not as easy as I presumed it to be. So I understand now. I value your gifts, your talents, what you're bringing to the table, so that I can now feel comfortable about collaborating with you. Because it's all about building trust and understanding the value of certain things to you. If you try to go out there and do it yourself, you understand how much time and energy that it takes. You're like, okay, now I respect the game.
Right?
Now I'm okay with investing in your company to do this for me, which frees up my time and energy to focus on that which I really love and appreciate, or to create. Use
Hmm.
my most precious time and energy to create what I love doing, which is my passion, whatever your passion may be. So, yep.
Absolutely. And
Mm-hmm.
and pushing that forward. So and not to forget about the second thing as well. The second thing is having grace and being patient with yourself, because when you operate and trying to bring forth a vision, this is where emotions can tie back in. You can get
Mm-hmm.
frustrated. You can do this because you're not seeing it. It's not showing up. I want $1 million. I got this idea. How come nobody's
Mm-hmm.
investing or whatever, whatever? And you have to give the universe, source, yourself, higher self time to create those situations to
Mm-hmm.
draw to you, right? So if you're trying to appeal towards the masses on, um, I don't know, no, I don't want to go say that, just think about,
So like
just heart
soliciting for partners
so
and stuff like
listening,
that.
yeah, yeah, but I was thinking about like in self-care aspect, maybe like mental health, right?
Mm-hmm.
First of
Yeah.
all, you have to be seen. That's like a lot
Mm-hmm.
of business fail because nobody knows about you, right?
Yeah.
And that's where marketing comes in. You see how they just come in
Yeah.
and kind of get it out to the people. But if you go into mental health, you have to bring the awareness to mental health, and technically there needs to be people having mental health, so the awareness and the creation of others being in or becoming in mental health. And I'm not trying to say this as a light to disrespect anybody, but that situation have to be obtainable for those who has it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So for those who has it, then you got to figure out how to get in front of it and give the universe and stuff time to create that vibration. And positive vibration works quicker.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem like it, but it works faster. It's more magnifying towards you to bring
Mm-hmm.
the attention of what you're trying to portray or what you're trying to help
Mm-hmm.
or what you're trying to do forth as well. That's the second thing. And when we don't have that patience and we're not gracious and trying to operate at a very high vibration frequency, we'll just give up on it. Be like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm out of this. You know what I mean? And then when you do that, you didn't give enough time for people to turn their heads like, I don't want to say zombies, but it may take a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And by the
Yeah.
time they see your ass, then you get those running zombies. Oh shit, there it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like he was just slow, and now all of a sudden he's
Yeah.
working.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Then here
saying? That's
comes the
kind of how that
flood.
shit goes. It may take a minute,
But
but once it's there,
build it and they
boom,
will come.
they will come. And here you go. Now you book like, oh goddamn. Because another thing too is we get caught up in our passion, right? When you want to, if you're looking at growing, some people, and that's no, choose whatever you want to experience. But for those who are trying to grow, there's only so far you can do just working by yourself. You can hit a root, you can hit a ceiling, you hit capacity, boom. And if that's what you're cool with, that's what you want to experience this lifetime, that's perfectly fine. But for those who want to take a bit further, this is where unity comes in. This is where unified come in, because you can't be everywhere at the same time. Like for me in the massage industry, I'm a healer as well. I'm an energy worker as well. If I'm in a session, I can't answer the phone. I
Yeah.
can't respond to text messages. People want to talk
Mm-hmm.
to me and not knowing to understand that I'm actually working, and I'm
Yeah.
giving my undivided attention to the client that I'm working on that's paying me to do the work
Mm-hmm.
for as best as I can. So I can't do that. I can't sit here and say this is what I'm telling and pitch you my services and everything like that. I got a website for
Yeah.
that. I can't sit here
Yeah.
and say when are you available. The website says you only got this. Well, that's what I got. Like I control the website. The website is me. It's an extension. It's me. If that's what it says, that's what it is. Then,
I digress.
you got to understand. I let that go. So, I digress. So then, you have to understand in order, you can only go so far by yourself.
by yourself.
You
Yeah.
have to be willing, if you, depending on how far you want to go, to work with others. That way it frees up your time, because if I have somebody answering the phones, I have more people in here. If I have
Hmm.
somebody and they can do the sales servicing, because that's all they do, waiting
Yeah.
for that phone to ring as I'm working, while somebody else is marketing and getting the digital marketing going. Because right now, coming soon, events, retreats, all this stuff is happening that we're putting forth, and it's
Hmm.
going to require first an audience to obtain to. So this is part of, this could be marketing there to show what type of
Yeah.
like-minded individuals we looking for, that are on this journey, that are looking to go
Mm.
further, that are looking to hear what we got to say, not as a guru, but share information, to show up. We're building a community now. So not so we building a community to do the retreat. No, we're building a community so we can I don't want to say commune, so we can communicate together, so we can come together and be that unified energetic influence and unify as one to help raise this up. And if that brings in, like, hey, we got an idea, let's do this retreat. So that way we can go within ourselves even more together. Even though we're
Hmm.
focusing on here, we're doing it there, which will help influence and encourage others to do it. Right?
Hmm.
It's about you being you and being around like-minded, like ones like you, because technically you're still around you, technically speaking, just a different perspective of you, and
Yeah.
bring that all together. So that's it's so much, and it roots all the way down to emotions and feelings and all that. So I digress. Yeah.
Well, no, because in order for us to go within, we do have to let go of our mind, or relying on our mind and our actions most of the time. There has to be balance. They say there's normally three minds. You have, of course, your mental, you have your heart, and then you have your gut instinct. Those are the three minds. And so if you can bring those into alignment, that magnifies your pull to wealth, abundance, thriving, liberty, whatever it is that is your innermost desire, by that alignment.
Mhm.
And in order for you to know what that desire is, you have to know what your passions are. And in order to know what your passions are, you have to trust your emotions.
Mhm.
Because your emotions, that energy that's in motion within you, is going to be what drives you forward, what makes you halt, what questions your courage or your capacity to move forward or to overcome. It's all to help you to evolve, not for you to run away from them, not for you to be afraid to feel them, not for you to shy away from processing them, not for you to not even accept them because of your beliefs. Your emotions are there to guide you in all ways, shape, form, fashion. We just have to allow them. And that's the neat thing. Well, a lot of people say, what's so, special about, beings on earth and blah, blah, blah. It's because we got emotions.
Mhm.
How we process intense emotions is what intrigues the fuck out of higher vibrational beings, because they don't have, like we mentioned earlier, they don't have to deal with such a dense body and such heaviness that we go through when we're down here. They don't. It's
Absolutely.
unfathomable.
Yeah. Isn't there was one example about dealing and being in a moment with the emotions, where hypothetically, just say a deer, right,
Hmm.
was, minding their business, drinking water, whatever, to see, they drink around, oh, there's a lion, right? And and
Hmm.
to not get eaten by the lion, they're now dealing with the lion, so they take off, get chased, whatever, and they get away. Okay, they get away from they get away.
Hmm.
Do you think that deer, after they get away, is like, oh, I almost got ate? Man, that lion almost got me. Wow, I was just about to
Nope.
be gone.
They shake it off and they keep
They
going
said,
like
that's why
nothing
most of
ever
them shake.
happened.
Ah, let go of the motion, process through. That's gone. Where was
That's
that
that
pun I
immediate
was drinking for?
action.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? They right back. I was thirsty. Now I'm really thirsty. Let me go ahead and give me something to drink. They're already there. That motion is already gone. And that's what we can learn from, because we're the ones that want to dwell in the chat.
Yes, and
You know
hold
what I'm
on to it for
saying?
dear
Want to
life. Like,
hold
one
on
night
and
we gonna
live
get
out and
stoned.
replay and replay and replay and replay and replay. You know, that's all we damn doing
And
when we're
see,
supposed to be like,
here's
back to those notes.
exactly back to that homeostasis, and that's why they're saying be like a child, get through them emotions right now, and get back to your joy.
Mm-hmm,
Hello,
mm-hmm,
get back to that joy.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We could trip sometimes. We so want to hold on to shit for what? Because we think we can control, not
We want to
knowing that we've
control.
lost control or
Mm-hmm.
have
We
given our control over to somebody else
uh,
because we can't control our emotions. Yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
Somebody
Fun.
else, some system else.
And they
Systems.
making money off that shit too.
Oh no. Taxes. You know, some people think the damn vote got something. We voted. What you think they got to do with your? Just because you vote don't mean a goddamn thing. They still gonna do what they want to. Um,
Yep, pretty much. And that goes with people. Just because you in union with somebody, just because somebody's in partnership with you, don't mean they gonna listen to you or do anything that just
you
gonna make
tell
you
them.
happy. They
Mm-hmm.
gonna do whatever the fuck they wanna do,
Mm-hmm.
despite agreements or not. And they have that right to because they're human. Now,
Exactly.
there might be some remedies that you can get, like, in the public forum or whatever have you, or contractually in the spiritual realm. There might be some consequences, but you have that right to change your mind. You have that right to choose how you want to believe, how you process your emotions, how you go through understanding yourself, how you direct your energy. That's all you, boo. It's all you.
It's your life, your perspective. It's all you. You
Do whatever
choose
the
what you
fuck
want
you
to
want to do.
experience. Do literally today, any moment, yesterday, tomorrow.
As long as it doesn't infringe on somebody else, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Absolutely.
But yeah, emotions are a guidepost for energy. For us to know where we're supposed to go, how we're supposed to do things, how we're supposed to address certain situations. And it's okay to ask for help on how to process emotions. Because that, something that should be taught is not taught. It's unique. There was this book that I was reading, and I misplaced the book. But in this book, there's a particular tribe in Africa where the men of the tribe, because remember you mentioned men aren't allowed to feel emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not right. You're not inhuman as a man or a being embodying the male genitalia. But this tribe in Africa, the men of that tribe, they specifically take a hiatus and they go into the bush, forest, woods, whatever you want to call it, but they call it the bush, so that they can do the female duties to balance their divine masculine and feminine energy. So when they go out into the bush, they allow themselves to cry. They allow themselves to express emotions. They hold each other. Mind you, they don't have homophobia or issues with that. That's not the case. It's to allow them not only to process their emotions, but allow them to tap into their divine feminine side, not just so that they can be more balanced men, but so that they can also relate to their divine feminine counterparts, to their wives, their daughters, their elders that are women and men back at the camp, back at the tribe. And when I read that, I was like, so why aren't we doing that here? Like, men are taught, no, you can't cry. You're not allowed to cry. You got to pure, you got to be macho. You got to do this. You ain't allowed to fucking feel. You ain't allowed to fall. But who does that shit? When men have just as much emotion, if not more, than women do. They feel, they may be simple in their expression of it, but they have the same emotions. They have a right to feel those emotions and to express them in the manner of which they want to as well. But because society says, now you're showing weakness.
Mm-hmm. And it gets projected onto us as men too, and this is so, at least I can only speak for me here
Mm,
in America, what I'm experiencing, right?
mm-hmm,
I'm seeing a lot of men not being heard, and a lot of men, like you said, is suppressed and not to feel emotion, not to cry because we consider it weak, we consider it this, and
mm-hmm,
the system is trying to put it out there. This is why here in America there's a lot of menless homes, right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because it makes us feel that and think like if you're not careful, we can be taken like, "Oh, am I crazy? Why am like under attack?" And of course, we have to
Uh-huh.
process. It's our responsibility to process those emotions too. But at the same time, it sucks because that's what society try to project. So at the end of the day,
I was I was gonna take it somewhere. Hold on.
you will take. Go ahead, real quick. I'll come back.
That whole, and this might piss a whole lot of people off. That whole comment, happy wife, happy life
Oh, we
thing.
could talk about that.
Oh, so I
Oh,
do not.
you know how many
I do
battles,
not.
how many debates I done went on that?
Hold on. Listen, right? Now, I don't 100% agree with that. And here's why. Now, I do understand the influence that the divine feminine has over the energy of a home. We are very fucking powerful in the energy of our home, and it extends to our offspring, right? And so, like the scriptures say, a man would rather be on the roof of the house than inside the house with a contentious woman. Because we really disrupt the entire fucking atmosphere when we ain't feeling good, right? So I
Mm,
get that point. They don't want to have to deal with the nagging and the bitching and the moaning and the negative energy. I get it. I get
mm,
it, right? However, the way that that phrase is taken means that the man of the house, their emotions, their feelings, their eccentric nature, whatever it is, it doesn't fucking matter. That's how it's being taken.
period.
Like, as long as my wife is happy, then everything is cool. No, it's not cool. Because while you try to make her happy, and I'm speaking from a woman's perspective, you sitting here trying to make me happy. If I truly love and honor you, I want to make sure that you are happy as well. I want to make sure that you are valued just as much as you are valuing me. And if you're sitting here and you don't have any say, you don't have any decisiveness, you're just doing everything that I want you to do, then my respect for you diminishes. I'm going to start disrespecting you because now you have no fucking backbone. You don't even know who the hell you are because you're sitting here trying to please me. And it may be done out of, don't get me wrong, it may be done out of love because you love me so much. I appreciate that, but I'm going to need you to love you just as much as you love me. I'm going to need you to take care of you just as much as you want to take care of me. And even on that level, if you can't take care of you, you can't take care of me. If you can't love you, you can't fucking love me. I don't care how much you think you're trying to spoil me. No, I'm gonna need you to stand on your ground. I'm gonna need you to be able to have an intelligible conversation, regardless of how I may react. I'm gonna need you to still stand on your own and say, hey, this is how I am feeling right now. This is my perspective right now.
Yeah.
I'm not over you. I'm not under you. I'm not beneath you. I'm not subject to, I'm beside you. We're a partner here. So both of us in this home, if we're going to dwell together, if we're going to do this thing together, both of our emotions matter. Both of what we feel is just as important. I'm just saying.
Facts. I ain't even got
That
to add
whole
to the
happy
shit.
wife, happy life bullshit, all because you want some damn pussy. That that's
Talk,
the
hey, you're
that's the
talking.
reason.
Hey, you saying some shit now. Hold on. God damn it. You went
All
in there.
because you want some coochie. You willing to do whatever the fuck I say. You know.
Yeah. 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 That's what it comes
Coochie
down
comes a
to.
dime a dozen. There's plenty of it out there, right?
Plenty.
Plenty.
Yeah.
You can just go pay for it. You ain't got to deal with the nagging. I just
Mm.
keep it real. You ain't got to deal
Mm.
with the nagging. But that's not the way to be. When you're gonna, if you're gonna play this whole unit thing, this whole family orientation, both sides need to be respected. Both sides need to be heard, because both sides are just as valid. The divine masculine and the divine feminine. And I'm sorry if you bitches out there just want to be angry because you can't have your way and you want to throw a temper tantrum, then that man or that woman, because you know you might bat for the same team, they just be like, deuces, I'm out. I ain't got to deal with this, because they don't have to.
Yeah, right. And
They don't have to. Why
that's
they're
what's
doing
showing
it?
them
There may
now.
be multiple reasons,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't. They ain't got to deal with that shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just saying. That's
Yeah.
my perspective.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
lot of
no,
people may not agree
that's
with me, but
but that's
it
what it
just is what
is.
it
And
is.
that's what you know, we get in society where society has a lot of people in society has a tendency and a habit of trying to keep things the same. And trying to keep things the same, meaning they don't want evolution of another person, right? So usually when it comes down to, and understand that
Why do
both
you think that
masculine.
is?
Oh, it's about control. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, they want to keep that because they want to stay in control of the situation. Because
Mm,
once, and I say all this, I'm setting it up here, because
mm-hmm.
both genders have feminine and masculine together.
Yeah.
We're to balance that out.
Yeah.
One can operate a little more in the masculine, but they need to stay
Mm-hmm.
in balance, and testosterone and then all and trying to get all that, right?
Yeah. Blah blah blah
So
blah.
all the blah 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 blah. Y'all know that, right? So when it
Blah.
comes down to it, to add, because you said everything. The only thing I would add to it is a lot of times women, you get mad at me too, I don't give a fuck, but women, right? Women has a tendency of wanting the man to be the man they think he should be.
Oh, that's
Meaning
that
they want
expectation
the
bullshit.
expectation bullshit. Why don't you want to be, and it's manipulative. You know what I mean? You're manipulating man because you wanting him. You're not looking for the man and accepting him for who he is. You're looking for a man to see who fits your idea of a man closest, right? And then to see if you can change him up and all this stuff and try to do this, not
Ooh, that part.
understanding. You see what I'm saying? And I'm putting all
That,
this
yeah.
on here. And then if he operates as himself, you want to bat against that because you want the happy wife, happy life. You're trying to train him that your happiness is superior over whatever he thinks, feels, or wherever the case may be. So at the
It
end of
is
the
not,
day,
because ultimately you don't respect him. When
you
he
don't
gets to that
respect him.
point, you don't respect him. Then
You
you go
don't
and find
respect him.
somebody else, or you have this
Do the
other
same
image
thing.
still in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Just that
And
they see, and that's why they said let people be where they are. If you're gonna love somebody through thick and thin, you have to love them through their evolution, through their changes. People are the only thing that's constant is change. People's perspective change. What they once wholeheartedly believed may be flipped because of an experience that they had that broadened their perspectives. So they may not believe that anymore. Are you going to not love them or dislike them because now they have a different perspective? You have to love them where they are, wherever they go to, as they evolve, as they change, as they go up and down in their journey, because life is going to ever be an ebb and flow. If you, yeah,
no,
just
not.
that's a
I'm gonna
whole
say
nother
it.
rabbit hole.
I'm gonna say it. No, I'm gonna go deeper.
I
Y'all
just
need to
want
hear
these
this shit.
happy emotions
Yeah, yeah,
all
yeah,
the
yeah.
time,
All the time, yellow
24/7.
brick road, all that bullshit. Now I'm gonna say it because this is fucked up about it, and y'all don't think I see y'all motherfuckers. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna piss y'all off now. I'm just
Go
see
ahead,
you
go
just
ahead.
started something. I'm gonna fucking say it. Once and men are starting to wake up to this, and this is why men are not wanting to. And it's a fact. You can look it up. Men are not getting married anymore. They're not trying to get in motherfucking relationships anymore because they're waking up to saying, I deal with this shit. You want me to do all this? I mean, think of Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is geared towards the woman. You see all fucking day and it's geared to you. You want him to take you out to this restaurant. be
I
damn if
you
you
these
go to the
flowers, this
Cheesecake
chocolate,
Factory.
this
We already
bling.
seen
Yeah.
that shit, right? All that with the Cheesecake Factory and shit. Be here, you want to be treated all this all fucking days, all about your ass, just so you can give 15 minutes of fucking, right? And that's all he gets in
Mhm.
return for free. You don't even see commercials advertised of taking care of men or anything like that. It's literally geared. This is where
Wow.
society fucking come in. It's literally geared to tailor towards the woman. You know what I'm saying? If y'all get into,
All for
let me
some
go deeper.
coochie.
No, it wasn't Gucci, but I'll go deeper than this. This is what I'm gonna fucking say, because y'all think y'all slick. I'm gonna really piss y'all off on this motherfucker right. Look, once that man stops doing that, right?
Then you
Because
don't
the
feel loved
new,
anymore.
all that. This is what's fucked up about it. Y'all have children, right? Most of the time, the real you come out after the fucking baby is conceived or here.
Mhm.
You may blame postpartum with that shit, and I'm not saying that postpartum is fucking real. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
separate that. But what I'm saying, this is
Yeah.
the mentality. A lot of women that are single moms, no disrespect, especially if you have a
Mhm.
single boy, if you have a boy, right?
Mhm.
Instead of you looking for a man,
You
you
put
just get
him in
all
that
that loving.
position.
You put him in the little boy in that position, because what you can mold him the way you want him to be molded. He is looking for himself. You can't create the guy that you want to have and do all this stuff. And then guess what? The beautiful, you ain't gonna fuck him. So now at the same time, the exchange that you would usually get is getting fucked by your man. You ain't got to fucking worry about, because you ain't about to sleep with your son. I can say it. You can't fuck around. I
Hold
know
on.
what y'all fucking thinking. Can
Some
say it.
people, I've seen movies where some people do. We're not going to talk about that.
We're not talking about that. But this is what I'm
But
saying is the mentality is
Mhm.
your idea of who you want to be and who you want to project on the man to be is best
Mhm.
projected on someone trying to become one at the
Mm.
end of the day. Instead of
Yeah.
accepting that man, guess what? Because his mama did the same fucking thing on a
They-
lot of terms. And what you're not understanding is the way his mama projected on how he should be if a man wasn't in the house is the same fucking
Mhm.
way you projecting on your son. And then when he done, whoever he gets with, or if you have a daughter, whoever she gets with is going to have the
Mhm.
same fucking
It's just
thing. So
continued
it's
cycle.
going to continue
Continued
a
cycle.
cycle.
Yeah.
So none of y'all agree on who a man should fucking be, because the only person
Mhm.
that can teach a person how to be a fucking man is a man. I don't give a fuck what you say. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. Deal with
That's what it is. Yep.
you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I
Just
can tell
saying.
you, and this is where I say y'all gonna get pissed off. I can tell you how to be the man. You can tell him about how to be in
You
touch
can
with his
tell them how
feminine
to
side
understand.
and,
Yeah, I was
and
going to
all
say
of this
that. You can
shit
tell them how to
and
touch the feminine
all of that.
side, how to understand it, how to
Understand it,
process it,
all
how to
that.
get through it. But as
All
far
that.
as, yeah, yeah,
Masculine goals, you have it too. And I'm not saying you can't teach how to protect and all of that stuff, but he needs to see.
yeah.
He needs to experience. He needs to feel the energy of that masculine
Mhm.
come out. You don't
Mhm.
hold this unless you really feel threatened. And all the
Mhm.
times, everybody I've ever came across don't want to be in this. They want to be in their masculine or their feminine energy. They want to feel.
Mhm.
They want to operate and create and love and turn things in a home and all of that stuff. They
Yeah.
don't. They don't want to sit here how to do this and protect and come in here and lead and linear. Y'all not a linear type.
We like to go like this. La, 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 la.
Y'all like to not make sense.
Hey, we don't
No
make sense to you, but
disrespect. No
we
disrespect.
make a whole lot of goddamn
Y'all
sense when
make
it
a whole
comes to
lot of sense.
certain
I
shit,
know
right?
it like that. But meaning is like, didn't you just say this and then that goes to that and then that went to this and then that went to that and
I
that's not
said
making sense to
la la
me.
la 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 la.
Well, I guess it's la la la. So a masculine would be like, you know what? I'm gonna just fucking make the space. Go ahead, do what you do. God damn it, do it. Back up, back up. What the fuck? How much? You know what I'm saying? See, you have to, and this is part of learning with one another. But like I said, it's so much stuff, and that's a so deep rabbit hole. But I fucking said it, and that's a lot of problem here, and that's dealing with emotions, those emotional
Yeah,
thoughts, and going back and not being in alignment and understanding how to operate and everything. Because some women be like, I can't teach him how to do that. But at the same
yeah.
time, as he
I
grows,
mean,
it's
we can
still
barely teach
that child.
ourselves how to get through the
I was
emotions,
just about to
right?
say. I was just about to say because we have to still teach ourselves because we are our responsibility. And as that
Mm-hmm.
child grows up to be there, guess what? They're responsible for how they have to deal with their emotions and their thoughts. We're all responsible for ourselves
Mm,
first.
yeah.
Parenting is helping to guide. And how you
Mm-hmm.
guide determines a lot of shit. A lot of people is
Yeah.
fucked up out of here based off of that uproot or that upbringing that went in so many different confusing or so many different directions. So in
Mm-hmm.
telling, so instead of allowing, this is where the control aspect comes from, allowing that
Mm-hmm.
child to be the child in the field or whatever, we want to control and try
Mm,
to conform them to the society. So by the time they get up here, they're dysfunction. They don't know what the fuck is going on. They don't know why the
yeah.
fuck they're angry. They don't know why the fuck they hurt. They don't know any of this because they're not thinking about their upbringing. Instead of
Yeah.
creating a comfort zone, right, for them to
Or a
operate
sacred
as who
space for
they
them to
are and
express.
making
Yeah.
that space and talking to them and teaching them how to process their emotions, their thought process, teaching them how to do all of
That's
this,
the key.
allowing them to learn, allowing
Mm-hmm.
them to be who they are, and just holding space and guiding them to think and process for themselves. So by the time they
Mm-hmm.
get into the society, they already have the fucking tools down in
Yeah.
themselves to take care of themselves versus, oh no, I'm about to go talk to mama. You know how many guys you know still stay with them? Never mind, forget it. No bashing guys. It goes both ways because at
Hey,
the end of
it
the
gets
day, it's
hard out
okay for a
here.
woman to stay with a
God damn
mama,
it.
but a guy stay with a mama. Oh, he's a weak man. You know, he may be saving money. He may be going through something.
Yeah.
You know, you never know what
Yeah.
that guy's going fucking through. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You just never know. So instead of projecting and putting all that shit out there, take responsibility of yourself, line yourself,
Process your
balance yourself,
feel your emotions.
feel
Don't
your
suppress them.
emotions.
Don't hide them.
Don't hide them.
Feel
Feel
them.
your thoughts. Feel all of that shit and be accountable for your shit.
So some healthy ways, right, to
Uh-huh.
process the emotions. So some people and some people had to learn on their own because they didn't have somebody to teach them. So some people process their emotions artistically, meaning
Mm-hmm.
they may write songs, they may draw, paint. Some people exercise it out. These are healthy ways to help you process them or to get them out your system. Um,
Music.
but yeah, music. And sometimes music can help you express it because a lot of people are not good with expressing their emotions or expressing what they want to say. So sometimes music is very helpful. Some people are not very verbally communicative. So they would rather write out what is said. Like, for instance, I do have a son and he does have both his parents. But he's like me. We verbally talking about our deepest emotions and feelings. No, that doesn't happen. I'd rather write them out. And so he is the same way. And so he always tells me, Mom, I don't know how to say how I'm feeling. It's difficult for me to say. And so a lot of people, that's okay. If you cannot verbally express it, paint it, draw it, write it, poetically or just in a paragraph, but do something to not let it sit and fester into something that's not healthy for you. And so there are other healthy ways to get out. You have coach, you have spiritual life coaches, you have psychologists, you have therapists that can hold that sacred space for you to be able to allow yourself to let go of whatever it is that you need to let go of to process those emotions. Another way is to sit and meditate. Sit and meditate and feel. If it's rage, feel that fucking rage. If you need to go punch something, preferably punch a bag, not a person or a wall. You ain't got to destroy shit. But feel that, allow yourself to feel that rage. If it's sadness, it's okay. God damn it, feel it. Process it. No, why are you sad? Why is this emotion resonating with you? It's okay. Cry if you need to. It's okay. Your emotions are just as valid as anyone else's. You are allowed. That's what the fuck you came here for. Like we've been saying this whole goddamn episode. You came here to feel the feels, to have those emotions, to allow them to guide you and direct you into who you are. Not to manipulate and control other people, but to guide and direct you into who you are, who you're becoming, or who you want to be. They're here to challenge you, to encourage you, to strengthen you when you think you have nothing left. Feel those emotions.
That
Feel
reminds me
them.
of the
It
of
sucks.
the
But
of the tool that that Ascension Earth
yes.
has brought
Share
forth.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Share.
The tool. I figure out the first one is to be aware. Be aware like something's coming up. I'm feeling something, right? I'm feeling something. I'm feeling. I don't know what it is. It's there. And then what was the
Got to be
second one?
feeling
To
something.
yeah, I'm feeling
I'm
something,
sorry.
but to acknowledge, right?
Yeah.
And to
Yeah.
acknowledge, like, okay, I understand. I'm feeling hurt. That's getting to the
Oh,
understanding. I'm
yeah.
understanding. I'm feeling hurt. I'm understanding that I'm feeling sad right now. I'm
Mm-hmm.
understanding that you know, I'm acknowledging it. Like, okay, and saying it's okay to feel it. Telling yourself
Yeah.
it's
It's
okay.
okay.
It's okay to feel that.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay. It's all right. It's a moment. Go ahead and feel it. Allow
Yeah.
yourself to feel because a lot of your emotions is in your heart chakra, right? This
Mm-hmm.
is also your portal. We can go to that
Yeah.
later. But this is your emotions
That's
is
your
there.
magnet.
That's your magnet. So get into your heart space just by putting your awareness here, putting your thoughts here, putting your thoughts on that emotion, putting your awareness, putting your everything, your attention on your heart and those emotions that you're feeling here. Once you feel that and give yourself permission, say it's okay, then feel it. Feel it out. Let it process. Go through what it is. Feel it out. Feel it. Like, okay, feel it. Ooh, yeah, okay. Yeah. Feel that shit, right? And then the next thing is to what? Then you have the choice to choose.
Yeah.
Once you feel it, you can choose
Choose
to
how you
dwell
want to
in it,
interpret.
how you want
Yeah.
to interpret, how you want to
Mm-hmm.
process through it, how you want to get through it. This is the powerful transition point, right?
Yeah.
Choose. Choose what your reality wants to be. Choose what you want to what road you want to go down. Choose how to
There's a multitude
allow.
of them.
There's multiple, but this choice goes everywhere. This is the multiple dimension right here. You have the
Mm-hmm.
choice,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Which brings to the after you choose and go there,
Mm-hmm.
then I believe that brings what's that last one it brings? The I want to say it's not the imagine, but it's the
Once you
or
interpret
imagine.
it,
Yeah, after you
then you
interpret
alchemize it.
alchemize. There it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then
You
alchemize it.
alchemize it.
How
You
would
let
you
it
alchemize it?
dissolve,
What you
or you
mhm.
let it encourage you to move forward, to excel, to change course. That's how you alchemize it.
There you go. There you go. And then move forward from there. Alchemize it,
Yep.
boom, and then operate the vibrational frequency. That's the
Mm-hmm.
tool to transition or transmute energy or to transmute those emotions or transmute what you're
To
feeling
direct that
to
energy
direct
in
it
motion.
and to direct energy and motion. That's the way
Yeah.
you do it. Recap, acknowledge, be
Mm-hmm.
aware, you're feeling some shit. What the fuck is this? Allow yourself to say, okay, I'm feeling this shit. This is what it is. Acknowledging,
And
okay,
it's
it's
okay
okay.
to feel it.
It's okay to
Yep.
feel it. Yeah, all right, yeah, I'm fucked up right now. Give me a moment. God damn it, give me a
Yeah.
moment. And then say, then feel it. All right, then let's feel it. Now let's process through this shit and feel it. What does that feel like? Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah. Why am
Whatever.
I feeling this
Why
way?
I'm feeling this way,
What
the big
preset
questions,
programming do I have subconsciously that's making me interpret these feelings as this when it could be XYZ?
all that.
Yeah.
All that. Then
Mm.
alchemize the shit. Then just say,
Yep.
okay, well, we're going to flip this shit around. Once you get your understanding and understand the root, why do you feel this way? You can choose to alchemize it, let it drizzle, whatever you want to do. You choose that better vibrational road, and then operate from such as there after all that is out. Now, I'm not saying
Yeah.
this shit is easy, goddammit. You may have to do
No,
it a
it
couple of
ain't.
times. You may have to do it a couple of times until you can get used to, and this is how you start to operate from the observation or from the observer.
Yeah. From your higher perspective
Then, right, and this is where you
instead of
start
just
to
immediately
understand.
reacting to shit.
Immediate
Yeah.
reactive. This gives you control over your emotions, over your feelings, over everything that's going on, and giving you the tools to transmute it and get it the fuck on. Right? That's how
By
you do the
knowing
shit.
thyself.
Like
Yeah.
knowing thyself. You're like, okay, you can tell yourself, I'm just feeling these emotions. These emotions is a part of the body. This is not me. I am not these emotions. I am
Mm-hmm.
not this pain. I am not this hurt. I am not this. I know, and be authentically, I am observing these, and I want this
Mm-hmm.
shit gone. God damn it. This is the process. Get the fuck off.
Shoe fly, don't bother me.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yes. 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 Ooh, this has been going. We did talk a lot. We went everywhere. Yeah, man. We didn't 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We done went everywhere. Goddamn it. Off of emotions and showing how this intertwined. Is there anything else we got to give to the people?
No, just feel it. It's
Let's
okay to
feel it.
feel.
Energy and motion. You
Yes.
are not your emotions. The tools to trans through. We gave you plenty of examples. We didn't try to make
Mm-hmm.
it as 3D as possible and scenarios to kind of get you an idea of what's going
Mm-hmm.
on, an idea of where it can show up when it comes down to
Yep.
relationships, because
Mm-hmm.
relationships or siblings or family or partnerships, whatever you could take, is that's the challenges of emotions with this within that is tangled in that shit with a lot of other things, learning how to unify
Yep.
and work together as one, because unity and unifying as one is the goal. And also the goal is to come down here and feel those emotions. The more fucked up situation you have actually shows you how strong your spirit, your consciousness is,
Exact
because
that part.
oh, because that shows you that you already knew you can handle this shit. You got everything is all fucked up because you had the capacity for
There is one thing that
it. Hmm.
that you reminded me of when it comes to emotions. Last tidbit to help people to have a gauge.
Hmm.
Psychologically speaking, when you hold on to the memory, so does your vessel, right?
Hmm.
So when you hold on to the memory of an experience that had you feeling intense emotions and you revisit that and you haven't completely let it go, your vessel goes through the same emotions. You feel the same thing. One way to know that you have transmuted or alchemized that energy or that emotion is that when the topic of that experience has come up again, whether you're talking about it, somebody else brings it up or reflects on it, you no longer feel the same emotions. That's how you know that you have matured, that you have successfully processed through them. And it may not happen instantly for you. It may take some time for you to fully, completely let go and alchemize it. But that's your gauge for yourself to know that you have successfully processed through an emotion. When you're able to revisit an experience that you had, detail for detail, word for word, and you no longer react the same way. Your emotions are that gauge to let you know you are still living back there in that experience, or you have overcome and you have grown and you have matured and have successfully processed and healed from those emotions. So that's one way that you can have a self gauge to know that you've successfully processed your emotions properly and that you're healed. So, yes, last thing.
Yes. Yes, that is awesome. Oh wow. That was such a yeah. We got shirts, goddammit.
Okay.
Coming. We got shirts. We already rocking.
Zodiac
We
Star
put,
broadcast coming at you
coming
again.
at you. We may put this, but we're not worrying about that right now. We're operating and recreating and loving the conversations that we're giving for you and everything. So like, just saying that. So, is there anything left you would like to share? Anything left that you would like to share?
No, I
Well.
just I encourage all of those listeners, for example, because we're global.
Uh-huh.
So for those that are listening to us globally, if you have practices in your culture that help one to be more balanced within themselves when it comes to their emotions, when it comes to expressing or feeling or processing them, feel free to share it. We'll leave the chat open so that you can share it, because people need to know a multitude of ways on how to process those emotions. So globally speaking, to our global family, to humanity, if there's an other healthy ways that you can process emotions, or that you can help people to identify the emotions that they're experiencing, feel free to share. Feel free to communicate and to encourage, because this is needed. Having to say we're over fucking stimulated, so it's hard for people to hone in and to tune in to themselves to even recognize that they're feeling a fucking emotion. So any way possible to help the masses, feel free to share it with us. We would love to hear how you successfully process your emotions. Like we already mentioned several ways to help out, but if there's other ways that maybe we failed to mention or have not yet experienced in our own journeys, we would love for you to share it as well. So we thank you in advance,
Yes.
just in case we
Yes.
don't catch it.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. I was going to say that, so you said it all, the comments, you feel free to put in the comments, the chat, and engage. Like we said earlier on, the idea is to build the community. We don't know, there's nothing new in the sun. We just have to remember all that. But at the same time, we can come together and conversate. So if there's something you can share, like I said, we coming out with the live stream, interact with us.
Oh,
Let us know if y'all ready for that. You know what I'm saying? Or we can keep
yeah.
doing these videos and now are y'all ready to talk?
One more. I got one more.
Okay, yeah,
More.
plenty. Yeah.
Dance.
Dance. Yes.
Yes.
Show your dance that motherfucker. Oh, you know what I
Yes,
mean?
shake them
This round,
shoulders.
shake and
Let it
have
go.
fun, which is very easy because
Funk it
dancing
out.
it pours from that authenticity of yourself because you're the one controlling it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
And
but that helps to move that energy in your physical vessel. So
yeah.
it can start emotional and mental, but when you're dancing, that helps it to release too. So that's another way that you can release any unhealthy emotions or um over abundant emotions.
Mhm.
Dance. I told
Yeah.
that should have been the first goddamn one, because I love dancing. I should have
Yeah.
said that first. I completely forgot. My bad. I'm
but
sorry. We're
but
about
it's
to
here
close,
now.
folks.
Yeah, it's
We're
here
gonna be here
now. We
forever.
thank you. Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you for joining us at the Zodiac,
Yes,
the
definitely.
Zodiac Star Podcast. Thank you for Zodiac,
Uh-huh.
because the Zodiac is everywhere. You know what I mean? So the Zodiac Star Podcast. Thank you for joining us. We welcome you. We appreciate you. We thank you. We love you all,
Yes,
and
thank you.
looking forward to more. And also, if y'all got some ideas or something y'all want us to talk about, put that in the comments too. If you want to have
Yeah,
some
let us know.
conversations
There's
or
a
some
whole bunch of shit.
questions.
But look,
Yeah.
my brother just talked about sent me something about this angel statue
Huh.
that's apparently morphing. But I mean, we're here more so to help people wake up. But there's some interesting stuff in the news that maybe we could talk about too. So just let us know.
We're everywhere. As you've seen, this went everywhere, goddammit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
But we
definitely
brought it back to
there.
emotions.
We brought it
See,
back. We
he
all
tapped
tied
into his feminine
we
side
tied
too. We
that
went.
all the way in. Yeah, with the oh, God damn it. So yeah, we definitely thank you, and we appreciate you, we love you, and till next episode, like, comment, share, subscribe, talk to us.
Yes.
We ready to talk to y'all. And until next time,
Yes.
peace.
Peace.